Welcome, everybody, to Running Strong Mind Body Connection podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bonnett-Natraj. So, this podcast was born from my deep belief that true strength comes when the body and the mind work together in flow, not in fight. Each week, we explore what it really means to live and lead from the inside out with powerful tools to help you shift from self sabotage to self love, from anxious to awesome, and from stress to success. You'll hear inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical wisdom from incredible guests, runners, coaches, nutritionists, healers, and everyday warriors, all sharing their journeys through challenges, resilience, and breakthroughs. So, whether you're chasing a finish line, healing from burnout, or just want to feel more connected to your body and mind, this is your space to grow, laugh, learn, and run strong in every area of your life. If this message resonates with you, I'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast and join me on my YouTube channel and share it with others and share your comments. The YouTube channel is Running Strong Mind Body Connection. And if you or someone you know has a story worth sharing, I'd love to connect. Let's keep building this community of strength and connection and transformation. So let's dive into our podcast today. And I'm bringing back a very special person, obviously, because this is her third time, Stacey Anne Bistak. And I'm just super, super stoked to have you back, Stacey. Thank you for joining me again.
You're welcome, Karen, and I'm glad to be here every time. Thank you.
Stacy's one of those people that just keeps bringing value to this podcast. And so today, Stacy, share with everybody. Oh, let's just revisit this because you'll find Stacy on episode 51 and 59. But share with everybody today again who you are, where you're at, and then let's dive into our topic that we wanted to share today.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Stacey Anne Bistak. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and I believe in uh, keeping the body active and doing proactive things to keep your health and your spirit and your mind aligned.
Yeah.
And that's what I love doing, and I love sharing.
So
So,
what do you want to share with the community today? Where do we want to go with this wonderful conversation I get to have with you?
so I think we were discussing a little bit last time about fueling for the ultra marathons and the
Hmm.
marathons, and that's a very important part of how you actually perform, right? As you know. So, I mean, it's one thing to train the body, but the fuel is very important for when you are performing, and the way you actually feed your body or nourish your body rather before the run. So it, during your normal days, as well as during training and during running, is very important, as well as the recovery phase, where if you don't recover well, you can't um, train and you can't run again. So I mean, as well as you can. So
Right, right, right.
so I'm sure you agree with that, Karen. I mean, you have experience doing it. I
Oh, for
haven't.
sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. There was a runner, and even thinking about that, last weekend was 100 degrees here in Auburn, and it was
Oh,
hot. And I went out on my run, and a guy passed me, and he had nothing on him. And first question I asked him, I says, "Where's your water?" He says, "I'm a camel." And then
oh,
he did 17, no, he did, how many miles did he do? Even if it was 10 or 12 miles, no water, no
mm,
hydration on him. So it's imperative that we do hydrate ourselves. There was another woman that I listened to the other day, and she's talking all about hydration and how it impacts our gut.
hmm,
So, how do you expect the inside of your body? We don't even look at that. We always look at the outside of our body and what is it doing and whatnot. But what about your organs and everything working correctly? That goes between your heart, your brain, your organs, your stomach, everything. And
yeah,
hydration is one of the key elements. But then I'm sure you can help expand on that, because it isn't just about drinking water,
no,
because you're out there sweating, right?
right, yeah. So you're losing some, look, your electrolytes,
Yep.
and that's the most important thing. I mean, electrolytes keep your muscles going. they keep your heart going, they keep your brain going. It's like all the organs and systems depend on electrolytes, and uh, like you need to replenish that. I mean, when you sweat, you're losing electrolytes, and electrolytes are minerals like salt and potassium, calcium, and magnesium. And many people cramp up because they're losing so much magnesium and calcium and potassium too. That can cause the cramping sometimes, and it's hard to recover when you've cramped. And it's better to be to take precautionary measures and hydrate with not only water, but if you can add some electrolytes, like you get powders and things that you can add to water, or maybe pre-mixed things that you could use during your run. Even coconut water is a great source of electrolytes.
Yep.
It's really high in potassium, so those who have problems with their kidneys, or need to be cautious about potassium intake, need to be aware of that. But you can always add some sodium, like in the form of Himalayan salt, which also has a bunch of minerals that can help to balance the potassium. So yeah, definitely. And when you do consume fruits and vegetables, and or maybe fruit juices and vegetable juices if you can, those natural things like sourced from the earth, the plants, they normally have all the hydration material that you need. And the water in them is so much better than drinking plain water, because it's naturally hydrating to your cells. It goes deep within the cells and actually helps your cells to rejuvenate and flush out everything else that it doesn't need. So it's amazing.
I never ever considered that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times races will have watermelon
Hmm.
on the races, and I don't eat that because
Oh,
I'm allergic to
right.
it.
You're allergic. Oh,
So, but they
yeah.
have oranges, and that doesn't appeal to me sometimes, and they have
Mm.
bananas. So those are the fruit choices that are
Uh-huh.
normally on races.
I see. Yeah. So, I mean, there are some options out there where you can get I mean, it's hard, I know, to carry along with you like coconut water and things like that, but you can get some really clean electrolyte mixes that you can add to your water, you
Right.
so that's an option. And there could be, or even take a little bit of salt, and if you eat a banana, there's potassium there, so you're balancing it that way.
Right. So there are many products out there. I use two different products. I'm not going to name them just because I'm not going to. I don't want to put out that like I'm supporting them or
Mhm.
anything. But there's one product that I really like that has the sodium, the potassium, the magnesium, and calcium,
Right.
and it also has calories. So it's 120 calories per flask of water. And there's another one out there that has it's just a balance of sodium and potassium. So
Right.
what's the difference in your knowledge of those two and the benefit? If I just did the sodium and potassium, what would be the long-term impact doing 100 miles in heat as opposed to having
Oh.
the other one?
Oh yeah, when you're doing 100 miles, especially on these longer distance runs, you do need the calories too,
Right.
because your muscles can store only about 2,000 calories worth of glycogen, and once you reach the like 18 or 20-mile mark, you're completely depleted. So you do need to actually fuel before the 18 or 20-mile mark, at least like with 500 calories or so at that time, or you know like in at intervals, so that you're not depleted at that point, because I think most ultra runners find they almost like crash at that point, especially maybe when you're first doing it. With
Right.
seasoned runners, I think it's a different experience, but you can tell me more maybe,
So
Karen.
then the marathon, just in the marathon world, they're always like the wall is 18
Yeah, that's right.
miles.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty much exactly what you're saying is that, and I never looked at it that way. That's a
Oh.
fascinating point of view of 2,000 calories.
Mhm.
And so just normally, like we are sitting here breathing, be existing, we're burning calories.
That's right.
But
Yes.
that just multiplies when we put our body through exertion and run.
Right.
So my idea, I learned this on cycling, was that your body can, and maybe you can add to this or enlighten us more on how much our, because our stomach can only digest so much. You can't
Oh
shove
yes.
2,000
Right.
calories in your
Mhm.
stomach right
Yeah.
out the gate, but you have to
No.
maintain this kind of like you have to maintain the fuel in a gas
Mhm.
tank or an electric car. You need to
That's right.
keep the energy up at a certain level in order for it to perform. And
That's right.
so I was under the understanding that a body can only digest like a couple hundred calories an hour. So
Yeah.
what
That's
is your
that's
point of view on that?
true depending on the activity. So when you're running, I mean, depends on the speed at which you're running too. But if you're just, that plays a part definitely as to the amount of calories you're burning per hour. But I would say, like, if it's a race, like between 200 to 300 calories per hour is needed on the longer runs.
Mm-hmm.
know. But I mean, it all depends on your digestion too and how much you can handle. So I would say, like, when you're training is when you experiment with things and see how well your stomach does with what you put into it.
Right. I
Yeah.
would think that if you're running really fast, but I'm sure if your body trains with eating, that you
Hmm.
probably will be able to take in the
Yes.
same amount of calories.
Hmm.
Um, I never calculated on my races. I just eat and go. I eat along the way. And
Right.
so at times we don't even get hungry. You know, you put your body, now I'm at like 75 miles and I don't feel hungry anymore. And you have the pacer with you going, you got to eat, you got to eat. And so it's important to listen to that person.
But
And
sometimes, I would say sometimes you got to listen to your body too, as long as you're hydrated and you have at least you're not like feeling tired or faint or you know, um, like if you slow down on the race, you can carry yourself further without ingesting. You
Mhm.
can burn more like your fat stores rather than your glycogen stores.
Right.
You slow yourself down.
Right. That's a good thing because fat is a longer sustained energy than
That's right.
the carbohydrate side. Um, so when somebody's stomach goes,
Mm,
it goes out, doesn't want to take anymore, the
that's
stomach
right.
is upset or
Yes.
however that goes, and they stop eating
Hmm.
and they have another 50 miles to go.
Wow. Yeah. That's a problem actually. So I would say sometimes, I think what happens is sometimes and especially on these ultra marathon runs, you need to have not only the calories coming from carbohydrates and sugars, but also a little bit of protein and a little bit of fat to sustain you. And if you only ingest the sugars, your body cannot handle that, and that's why you get the GI distress. And that is, I think, most people think they can just sustain themselves on the sugars, but it's actually backfiring.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. And that's when my husband and I started off. That's how he was doing it. I'm looking down because I didn't want to step on a cat. Um,
Okay.
my husband did that because he was totally relying on these certain gels, but some of these
Uh,
gels are high on sugar.
they're high on sugar, yes, and sometimes it's too much. Like I think they're 100 calories or so, right?
Right,
Some of them. Yeah, so you can't have that much sugars getting into your system without you experiencing some sort of discomfort.
right.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I take a gel that has more food-based, organic
Yes.
food-based, and then I make my own sweet potatoes
Yes,
that I
yes, I've done.
have throughout the race, just with salt and with coconut. I cook it with coconut oil and
Yeah.
put salt in it. And too on a 100-mile run or even 50 to 100-mile run, your mouth wants something different.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And
Yeah,
so
you get that carbohydrate. Like you get fed up of eating the sugars and the same taste of your gels or whatever you're
right,
consuming,
right.
right? Um, So yes, definitely eating something solid is very important and satisfying, but it also is more sustaining. So adding some complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, and you can change it up maybe. Now beets is another good source of carbohydrates, but it also has provides a lot of nitric oxide, which gives a lot of energy, and also opens up the blood vessels so that the circulation is better, so that is an option too. Maybe you
And
could
you said beets?
beetroot, yeah, beetroot.
Oh, fascinating. I didn't know that.
So, I mean, that's an option for roasting. Maybe carrots. I would say, I mean, if it were me, I would do maybe some parsnips. I like kohlrabi too. You know, those. I mean, kohlrabi you can even cut it up, like slice it up. It's really crunchy and very satisfying when you eat it. It's like very hydrating as well. So
Interesting.
yeah,
So what is it?
kohlrabi. It's like it belongs to the broccoli family, and
Okay.
it's this little bulb, like almost like a turnip, and it has
Okay.
these leaves. Yeah.
Fascinating. So what would happen if they um, I don't want to use the word hydrate, but they overtake it, they take too much sodium and potassium.
Oh, yeah, that's another problem too, because your body will tend to hold on to water, but then you're also trying to sweat it out. So, like you're actually making your body fight too much inside, you know. And and it depends. Some people, you know, you have to be aware too. Like if you're a really salty sweater, because some people just sweat and it's like they don't lose a lot of sodium. There are different kinds of sweaters. Yes.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So so depending on how, I guess, fatigued you feel after sweating a lot will really tell you like if you need more sodium. And now I know there are those sodium tablets too, and those contain like 1,000 milligrams of sodium or something.
Right.
That's quite a lot to have. I would say like 400 milligrams at a time should be enough, if you're taking it per hour and you're running like on a hot day, or and you're really
Okay.
sweating. Yeah.
That's what, yeah. So you're recommending 400 milligrams an hour?
Yeah, 400 to 500.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on, again, your body size and the way you sweat. Some people are profuse sweaters,
Right.
some people don't sweat as much. So it's all really like trial and error for you to know.
Mm-hmm. And everybody's going to be different, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So you mentioned coconut water as well, and I
Yes.
have done that before, and for me, it feels like so refreshing.
Oh, yeah, it
It
is.
just
It is
feels
very
really, really good because
refreshing.
we do a lot of coconut water. I drink coconut water every single day. So,
Yeah, great.
what tell the listeners what the benefit of coconut water is, and it's a little bit sweet.
It
If
is.
you've
Yes.
never had it before, it goes down like water. It's not fizzy or anything like a Coke or anything, but it's a very soft, sweet flavor.
Hmm. And like you can drink it, but you don't get fed up of it. Like, you know, but it has a lot of potassium in it. So you could actually add a little bit of Himalayan salt to give yourself the sodium as well when you're drinking
Okay,
that. Yeah.
nice. So why Himalayan salt? Why not iodized salt or
Okay. So, I mean, if you want the iodine for sure, you can buy the table salt that's iodized, but Himalayan salt has all the 72 or 84 minerals, if I remember right, that are in the exact composition that your blood has the minerals in. So it's very,
interesting?
yeah. So, I mean, so it's like you are directly feeding your system.
Nice.
Besides,
So would anybody need to mix that, even for a 100-mile run, to mix maybe some iodized salt or Himalayan salt, or is there any harm or benefit just having only Himalayan or only iodized?
well, yeah, I would say if having only iodized, you might be getting too much of the iodine, you know. I mean, a safer way could be to go with, I think, Redmond salt has a bit of naturally occurring iodine, so um, that might be an option too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I am familiar with Redmond and I've
Hmm.
bought their products too.
Oh,
So
right.
that's pretty fascinating. And so so what would you recommend somebody, well, even a 200-mile run, how that looks a 200 and 250-mile run. And
Oh yeah.
so I was thinking last year when I was supposed to train for it, well, no,
Mhm.
last year I was training for it and I was supposed to run it, but I didn't. So I get to this year. And so I was notified so early or so late, just a
Oh,
few months out. And so I was like, every run I did, I was consumed with thoughts of,
hmm,
food, clothes, shoes, socks, sleeping, shower, everything.
right.
So, but then the food part, so people eat actually like hamburgers and full burritos or a big plate of pasta, especially doing these super, super long runs. Um, in your knowledge and your expertise, what is your take on that? And how is that helping the body or not helping the body?
Well, if it is too rich and too calorie dense, um, it could backfire a little bit. But if again, if they're used to it and if they've done it like during their training, maybe it's a different story. Um, but I would say definitely on these ultra long runs, you have to take into account that you're actually missing meals, right, along the way, like
Yep,
actual meals.
yep.
So you have to add like whatever you would consume at a meal, those calories to the like 200 to 300 calories per hour, you know, to compensate for it. Otherwise, you're going into a deficit. So um, again, having cleaner cleaner choices is always better, but you know, um, and of course, like the meats and things can be harder to digest, especially if you're also running, because your body cannot do both things efficiently. Like you cannot work out and digest properly at the same time. You know?
The body's going, no, can we sit here for a long time so I can digest this? And the other half their body's like, no, we have to go run. Now I'm thinking for like the 250 for myself though, and I've experienced this in my long
Mm,
runs, or no, my long bike rides,
uh,
because I've done 1200 Ks and stuff like that,
right,
to where we go through a few nights, to where we go and have a good sized meal
right.
that I would like normally eat
Mm-hmm.
and then go sleep
Oh, okay.
and
All
then
right.
come back out and go and then get back on the bike or in this case go back, get out there
Okay.
and start
Yeah,
running
yeah.
again.
That is fine. That should be fine. As long as you like your stomach is okay at that point to
Right,
digest it. Yes.
right.
Yeah.
So that's what I was sort of thinking even for myself though, because isn't that the time the body will recover when you
Right.
just lay it down and
It is.
you've put
Yeah, if
nutrition in it and
right. If at
yeah.
a point you're like at a point of rest during the run, definitely you need to have that protein to recover, like within 45 minutes of stopping. You know,
Okay.
that's the
Hmm.
best time for protein ingestion for recovery, for muscle recovery, because the body uses uh, especially the branch chain amino acids, which are found in like meats and things, to actually repair and replenish the muscles. If it is a vegan person, they might have to add the branch chain amino acids by means of some protein powders or, supplements, because
Okay.
that's what's needed.
So is it so when people finish 100, for me it was like I couldn't eat anything after finishing 100.
Yeah, sometimes you can't. It's like maybe you're, I don't know how it happens with you, but maybe you're like cramping and you're sore and you're just too tired to eat.
It's too tired in my mouth and my stomach doesn't want to take anything more
Mm,
in. It's had enough.
right.
I've done so much of this. Now that by that point, crud,
Yeah.
all those potato chips that I don't normally eat and
Hmm.
all those goos or
Right.
the type of gels that I eat and
Yeah.
even those sweet potatoes, I don't even touch those sweet potatoes for
That's
weeks
right.
afterwards.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. No. mean, yeah, you have to sense like your body, like be kind to your body, and when it's indicating that it wants to eat, then replenish. I mean, it's fine if you don't eat within the 45 minutes. It's not like you're not going to recover. It's
Right.
it's it's just that whenever you eat, like try to eat, a healthy meal that
Something healthy. So,
has enough
and
of.
what's your take on people who drink? And I know this falls down the sugar category, but some people start drinking sodas like on
Mm,
the second half of the 100 or even
right.
into the next morning to wake
Mm,
up or whatever. They have like Coke
mhm,
and Mountain Dew
yes.
and some pretty nasty stuff out there.
Right. Yeah, I know. Well, I know some of them do it for the caffeine as well, I think.
Yeah.
And definitely they have a lot of sugars, and all the fizz is not really that easy on the system too. I mean, some people who are used to it can handle it, I guess, but it's not the ideal thing. But um, there are better options in terms of some supplements that are out there that even have like caffeine options with some natural sugars and maybe organic sugar cane or whatever, uh, or even maple syrup, which is a good option. That can be alternatives.
What do you suggest as options? What do you have in mind with that?
I mean, I've looked at a few supplements. I don't know if you want me to name them, but you don't want to
Yeah, I'd
use.
be interested. Yeah, I'd be interested.
Oh, okay. Because I think Scratch is a relatively clean brand.
Okay.
You heard of it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've never used Scratch, but
Yeah,
yeah.
relatively okay. They even have some gummies, I think, which could be an option rather than carrying like drinks and heavy gels and things.
Right.
Yeah,
So does that Scratch have caffeine in it?
some options have caffeine. Yes.
Okay, so you're from kind of what I'm hearing too is there's a lot of other brands out there that have non-caffeine and caffeine
Mm.
products. So
Yes,
are you
correct.
saying more to take like that
Mm.
type of caffeine as opposed to drinking a
Yeah,
Mountain Dew and
right.
Coke?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
My visual of that is putting chemicals down the throat
Mhm.
and having it just like destroy my whole
That's right.
intestines in my
No,
throat.
yeah. I've
There's
yeah,
absolutely nothing healthy about a Coke or a seven or a Mountain
yeah,
Dew.
I know. Well, Coke can actually dissolve nails. You know that?
Dissolve nails,
Yeah.
like
Nails.
hammer nails, carpenter
Right.
nails.
Hammer,
Just,
hammer.
if that's fascinating, can you imagine what it's doing to your gut?
That's why I tell people if it can dissolve nails, you don't know what's going on inside.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I even invite that to people who are addicted because some people are addicted to that sugar of Coke in the morning
Mhm.
because it breaks down the bones. I
Yes.
mean, your
Right.
teeth, it makes your bones brittle, and you don't want to have brittle bones at the age of 30.
No, I
You
know.
know?
Well, that's when the bones actually start to break down more than they build. You know,
Yeah.
from 30 on. Yeah.
Yeah. And then by the time you're 40 or 50, you're going to be so brittle,
Mm.
you can't
And
repair that.
right. And most people, I mean, of course, they do all the bone scans and things like that, but osteoporosis is not only like calcium and, the minerals, like your bones are living things. They're constantly breaking down and rebuilding. So if you're not putting the right ingredients in, like in terms of whole foods and all the minerals and all the nourishing um, things that your body needs, it's like that process will suffer too. And of course,
Yeah.
well, being active, I think you'll have an advantage because you know um, the impact of the exercise actually helps with the
Right.
sustaining the bones. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing, reason why I got into running, but I always lifted weights. So that's another weight impacting to help
Mm,
the muscles which feed the bones from what I believed. And then cycling doesn't do that because there's a lot of
mhm.
cyclists who end up with osteoporosis because it's not a weight-bearing exercise. And then
That's
then
true.
running, it's a completely weight-bearing
Mhm.
exercise
Right.
from the feet up.
Yes. Correct. Yes. And it's yeah, and that also helps feed the lymphatic system, that movement, which
Sure.
is important for like the immune system and recycling all the waste material and all of that. So it's really good.
Yeah.
Any
So
exercise.
that's another people who are listening to this, and if you're not runners, it's imperative that we move.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Movement.
everybody can walk, and it's so imperative because you just backed that up, Stacy. There's it moves everything inside and it gets all the organs kind of exercising themselves. We're not just exercising our body and our
Right.
heart's getting up there a little bit. You're also exercising the ability of the organs to work properly.
Yeah. Correct.
And I think
And I
that as we get old, I mean, talking old of 80, 90 later on in life, is that
right.
we get very sedentary and it's very important that we always keep moving.
That's right.
So my goal in life is when I'm 120 that I will keep moving and
Right. That's right. Yes. That's a goal we should all have. And in fact, many younger people are too sedentary now too,
I
They're always
know.
on up the screens and computers and phones and everything. Yeah,
Yeah, you talked about that in the last podcast, and that's the impact of that on our brain,
that's right.
our eyes,
Mhm.
our body, because we're so addicted. I don't even have my phone here near me. And I
Right.
don't, since we talked, I never have my phone next to my bed
Oh, good.
anymore.
Okay. Oh,
It's
you took
in this, it's in my office here charging, or it's in the, it's not next to me anymore, but I do wear my watch.
yeah. Well, something at least.
Because I am anal on, I want my sleep score in the morning.
Right. That's good. Right. Yeah.
Um, so, okay, this is a little bit off the subject, but I do have a question about that, my sleep score. So the HRV,
Yes, the heart rate variability.
yeah, so is it different for everybody?
It is, yeah. And the more, I mean, the varied it is, the better, because that way it shows that your body is adapting.
Interesting. So, but would mine be different? I mean, my balanced range, would that be different than my husband's or the person next door? Is our balanced range unique to each
I think
person?
it is. I think it is. I haven't looked into it that much, but I think it is. But the more varied the your heart rate is, the better. So if you look at that, that's the most important thing.
Okay, because mine went when I was injured, it was really, really low.
Uh,
And now it's higher, 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 but it's not, according to my Garmin
mhm,
graph, it's not
right.
out of balance. But yeah, I'm kind of like in that area. And I look at sometimes when I wake up in the middle and I look at my heart rate and it's about 43.
Hmm.
And then when I get up, it's a 50 and then it goes up. So that's been pretty normal over the
Okay.
years. But
Yeah.
I think when I believe that when I was injured, my heart
Hmm.
rate was higher because I'm trying to heal.
Hmm.
The body's
Yeah.
trying to work to
Right.
make it heal.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Could be doing that. Yes.
and so how much water
Hmm.
on a normal person should they drink a day?
Um, well, that also depends. I mean, they say like 6 to 8 glasses per day, or all that. But again, as I said, the if you're consuming a lot of vegetables and fruits that have a lot of that hydration fluid in them, like you don't need to, on top of that, drink 8 and 10 glasses a day. And again, um, having water is great. I think it depends. I know the older people get, they lose their sense of thirst. So older people need to make sure that they keep themselves hydrated, you know, like by sipping like at least a little bit every few minutes or so, if that's easier for them.
Right. That's a good point.
Mm.
Um, and so is there a amount of ounces per body weight? Is it just an overall calculation of 68 ounces or six to
60,
eight glasses a day
yeah.
or
I think if you're running, like I think it would be like 60 to 80 ounces per hour you would need, especially like on the ultra marathons,
okay.
the normal amount. But again, if you're well, also it depends on like how often you train and um, because your metabolism can be high, and you might need more water depending on that. If you've trained before,
Right.
because you're like, yeah, it varies. So I would say, like, if you go according to your thirst, but make sure you're not overdoing it with just plain water. Like, having electrolytes as well is important,
Right.
especially in the
Right.
hot weather and
Right.
all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember learning that when I was cycling because I had a friend who, because they push drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. But there's a race called the Terrible Two,
Mm.
and it's in June, so it's super hot and it's
Oh,
a lot of climbing on the bike. And this one guy ended up in the hospital
oh, yeah. So
because
then
he had drained all of his electrolytes.
electrolytes, yes, right.
Yeah,
You can do that, yes. Yeah, and that way, I mean, it can be hard on the kidneys too, that way. Um, so yeah, going by, I would say, like, not paying too much attention to the number of glasses, and like, I have to drink this much, or I have to measure it, and all that is too much work. And
there's
I
too much detail for the day.
I prefer the easier way, like, trust your body. But if you're, like, especially older people need to be aware that they need to be hydrated, because they could lose their sense of thirst.
Right. I didn't realize that. So I will certainly, I think it's a good idea. Put a little timer on your watch, on your clock or
Mhm.
something, and then have it go off every 15 minutes to take a drink.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, sipping water is the better way to do it, rather than it hydrates you better, that rather than guzzling everything at once.
Okay.
Hmm.
So here you guys go to our water.
I'll take a sip of mine too. Yeah, cheers.
I do that. I sometimes I forget to drink because I'm so busy here, and then and then at the end of the night, I'm like guzzling like four
Right.
big glasses of water because I'm so
Yeah.
thirsty. But I get the point. It's the same thing as like oiling your car
Right.
is keeping the everything lubricated in your body, and then if you inundate it with the whole bottle of water, then you have a really full stomach, and where's it gonna go? It's like except slosh around in your gut
Right. Yes, and go right through you.
and
Yeah.
feel bloated. So I know, and this is kind of a odd topic, but it still goes along the line of hydration. And I tell the people that I coach is like, make sure you guys know this, we all do it, make sure you pee every hour.
Mm,
And if it's more than that, okay. But then I do know that on a very hot day, the body wants to hold on to everything.
right.
You could
And
be drinking a lot, it'll hold on to everything. And then when the night comes and it cools down, the body
mm,
goes, oh.
yes. Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like sometimes my patient would be like, would you just stop? I'm like, I can't help
Right.
it.
And also on hotter days, like, you're sweating out a lot, so you may not want to pee a lot.
Right. Well, your body doesn't have the need to pee a lot.
Mm,
I mean, you
that's
could be taking it all in, but it's utilizing it
Yeah, that's right.
in
Yeah.
in a fashion. You may not be able to, you can't drink enough in that sense, because then you're
Mm,
over drinking and
right.
your stomach can't hold
Mm,
on to it.
yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah.
What other advice besides beyond this hydration and electrolytes? And I will go back and buy my product that has all the minerals and the
Mm,
amino acids and all that stuff because I
right.
really do like it. What other advice would you give us crazy runners? Or between crazy runners, the ultra runners, but then there's the people out there I'm sure listen to this that are not even moving the
Mm,
importance of, our bodies and keeping them healthy.
yeah. Well, first, like, having the foundational nutritional practice, to eat whole foods as much as you can, and that will again provide you the best hydration and the minerals and everything. Now, based on where the food, I mean, especially the produce is grown, the soils could be depleted of minerals. So, especially for um, most people, actually, we are depleted in magnesium. So, I would say, like, magnesium is a good thing to supplement, especially at night, also to get a better night's sleep. And
Good idea.
it, yeah. And well, I know, like, for bone health, people stress calcium, but magnesium is also needed with the calcium for the calcium to be absorbed. And well, talking about, because we did stress a little bit before about the bone health, vitamin D is important, and vitamin K2 is also very important, because it's only the K2 that delivers the calcium into the bones where it's needed. Otherwise, it could be actually detrimental, because it can go and deposit in the arteries and other places where it's not needed.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't, I mean, we're not taught that, right?
Yeah. No one's taught that.
Nobody talks about that and nobody
Mhm.
teaches us. And how do you know that little letter K2 is going to be
Mhm.
the catalyst to even your
That's right.
next level of health?
Yeah. That's right. No, K2 is very important, because
Yeah.
it's needed for the vitamin D as well. So, yeah. And so making sure definitely that your foundational nutrition is in place. And of course, your, everyday movement and activity, and keeping your brain active. All that is what I stress as well. And then,
Not on the phone.
yes, and then going, getting good sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing, if I can say also, with the hydration that we were talking about earlier, it's best not to drink too much water with your meals. It's better to have it like at least half an hour before, and the minimal with your meals.
I think I do. And then I drink after my meals.
Mm, yeah.
Not too often I drink during my meals, but always I remember that thought process of drink at least a half hour, within a half hour to an hour before I eat,
Hmm.
a nice glass of water, and then afterwards. Afterwards, I have a couple glasses of water.
Hmm. Soon after, or
A little bit after,
yeah, yeah,
not right,
right.
not right
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's good. Yes. Yeah,
cool.
those are the main things. What else? In terms of other things that you could use on your runs, maybe if you're getting, you know, tired of sweet potatoes and things, like you could make some like healthy cookies, with like oat flour and some bananas and things like that. If you can carry that along with you.
Do
But
you know what pungal is?
pongal?
Pungal.
Oh, you mean like the Indian festival?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, pongal. Yes, okay. Yeah.
So last weekend I ran and it was hot. And when I finished, I come home and my husband was making, I'm like, what is in this? Because I was expecting, sometimes he'll make the oatmeal. And
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking oatmeal on my sensories, but it didn't smell like that. He made pungal.
Oh,
So that
okay.
has your rice and the lentils and turmeric and some spices in it, but and it wasn't super spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was, I said, I want this on my 100-mile run and the
Mm-hmm.
250. It was
Right,
so good.
right. Yes, I know. Yeah, the lentils and the rice provide like a good source of protein too
Yep.
together. So,
Yeah. 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 So that was, oh, it's just so yummy.
mhm. I'm sure he's a good chef.
He is a good chef. My house smells really good. You guys can come over for lunch or dinner sometime and come. I'll sit here and be having, a podcast or a guest or a client, and then I start smelling him cooking, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
nice.
bye.
Great.
Oh, thank you, Stacy, so much. I really, really appreciate all your knowledge and everything you shared with us because it's so
You're welcome.
imperative that we keep our bodies healthy
Yes,
to live
definitely.
forever.
Yes. Yeah. Activity and nutrition and good health. Yes.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Karen. Thanks so much.